that's why I went the other way.
Looks like Senate Falls is tricky.
Well, I had lunch today. I might get a little crazy if I'm gonna eat something.
So screen mean we're live?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is a January 2nd meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Yes, sir, we're good with that.
And so we'll get started. I don't think there is, but is there anybody that wanted to speak? Get your name on the agenda or on the list, all right? I think we've taken roll on paper around the table. We got a couple out, maybe a couple show up. We know that Dennis is out on vacation. Approval of the agenda. I don't think we've changed the agenda since it got sent out last week. Anybody want to make any, do we need to change the order of anything? Anybody need to get out of here in a hurry?
I'd like to add something to it.
Okay. What would you like to add?
The bonuses that we talked about earlier in the year for the employees.
Are you going to talk about that any more?
We can, I have the numbers if y'all want them, I just brought those prepared. I mean, you can, let's see,
You have these, if you need those.
what is this?
But you can include that in your talk, right?
Yes, we can talk about it, if you guys want to discuss, when we're gonna give a mid-year budget presentation. In that, we're gonna have some insurance information, we're also gonna have hypotheticals, if this committee wants to look at it, of a potential bonus and what it would cost, in its totality, as well as what a 1% pay raise would cost across the board, just so we can, not that we're gonna approve those tonight, but so we can start
Right.
gritting those into the budget discussion.
That's what I was going to say. Since we don't have a budget amendment for that yet, let's talk about it tonight. And then if we want to direct Marianne to prepare something, we can. Is that okay? So we'll
I think that's
include
what he
it.
was getting to.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
put it
just
on
make
the
sure we
table.
talk about it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
So it,
down for discussion.
so it should be in the mayor's comments on the budget overview. All right, if there's nothing else, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
A second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Item number 4, public comments. We didn't have anybody sign up for public comments. So our next item is approval of the November 2nd minutes. I wasn't here, so I'll trust that y'all got those minutes right. And oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah. So she sent us a list of corrections on that. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that second sheet on there is corrections, clarifications to budget and finance minutes by Mariana. So hopefully y'all got a chance, but if you didn't get a chance, look at that, scan that for a minute and if that's acceptable, then we can have a motion as corrected, and then we can correct the final version.
Yeah, there are, if I could clarify something, Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
and this is my fault, things are moving very quickly. We were in some heated meeting somewhere, and you came in and asked me about the grant writer. And I said $20 at the time. We did discuss 25 with the individual, Marianne and everything, an hour part-time. And that was my fault for telling him 20. It just
Yep.
came out, he came in and told the committee properly. But we did, and he is on board. He's gonna get us some wins. You'll see, he'll pay for himself very quickly. Almost every grant we write has a 5% administrative fee, which will more than cover his costs. And he's really hitting the ground running. It's just part-time now, till we get some good wins, and then we can talk about things later. So it was 25, no benefits, anything.
And I didn't edit these into the existing document since I wasn't here and didn't know all this. And I mean, if we want, we can approve these corrections and then approve the final minutes at the next meeting, if that's what y'all would like.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4 was just kind of making some clarifications between
Motions and seconds and such.
what, having some verbiage, I guess.
So you want to do the corrections first and then the minutes?
Well, you can either vote to accept them with these corrections,
Well, it's-
approve the minutes with these corrections, or we can incorporate them and bring them the next time.
I make a motion that we approve the clarification corrections of the minutes and as written, and also the minutes, as
Okay.
written into the minutes.
Okay. So we basically have a motion to approve the minutes with these corrections.
Yes,
Okay.
should say it that way.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other discussion on the minutes? All in favor? Appreciate that getting done in my absence. All right, sorry, let's go back to my, let's rip the sheet off the top. School budget amendments, Dr. Lawson,
Yes, does anybody need a copy?
we should have copies.
You got copies? Okay,
Yeah.
just have them. Is the podium mic where I'm supposed to talk?
Yeah, it needs to be turned on. Just hold that button down a second. All right, you're good.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna call your attention, we have two budget amendments. The one that says -7 in the top right corner. This was a new grant from the state for pre-K funding, and this budget amendment brings that into the budget. And it's for supplies and training for pre-K teachers, so you'll see that down there below, instructional supplies and materials, in-service and staff development. So that's the purpose of this state grant. This just brings it into the budget and approves the expenditure for those items.
Is that the only one you have?
Oh, no, I have another one. I didn't know if you wanted me to cover both of them, or?
Yeah, just go ahead and cover
Okay.
both of them.
Now I'll call your attention to the second one, -8. So that's -8. This is a normal accounting procedure that occurs every year. Each of those things you see at the top are restricted funds. When we have money left over in various things like CTE, maintenance, technology, we restrict those at the end of the budget year, but then we have to unrestrict them so that we can use them. Our audit got delayed a little bit this year, so the unrestricting these funds is a little bit delayed. They remain restricted through the audit. This is just gonna bring money that we put aside at the end of last year. We restricted it so that we could use it. It has to be unrestricted so that we can start using this for those various departments. It's not new money, it's money that exists in restricted funds.
And it was restricted for certain purposes.
Restricted for certain
And that's what
purposes,
you
that
got
is
here,
correct.
yeah.
It's not unassigned fund balance, it's part of the restricted, it's part of that restricted fund balance that you see at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
And so but we're needing to get CTE equipment, we're needing to get some maintenance things paid for, and we can't access that money until it's out of the restricted accounts.
Understood.
We do this every year.
Any questions for Dr. Lawson on either of those? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
All right,
I'll second.
all right. All in favor? Aye.
Okay. Do you want me to turn this back off, or?
Yeah, why don't you just make sure it doesn't pick up extraneous noise? Ron might be whispering over in the corner there. All right. General fund budget amendment.
Okay, these were some changes during the year. A couple of them just did not get in the budget cycle. It's kind of some miscommunication, like on the codes compliance. There was not enough put in those line items, and so I wanted to go ahead and get those approved and get them in the budget properly before we start on the new budget. The second one is for circuit court. This is for a court officer for circuit court. Need a little bit of an increase in that line item. Number 3, civil defense EMA. This is, we had someone resign and take another position. We had to pay out the vacation wages that had accrued, so that's what that is. And the judicial commissioners just had the same thing happen here, had somebody resign, retired, that had quite a bit of vacation accrual accrued, so we had to pay that out as well.
Okay.
We do have some refunds coming in from, like I said, our 401K forfeiture account. That's money that we pay, we match employee, what they put in, and then if
Right.
they quit before they're vested, it comes back to
Comes
the
back
county.
to us, yeah.
So that's what I'm using, so we don't have to use unassigned fund balance on that. So there's no effect on the unassigned.
Okay. So we're just using miscellaneous refunds to fund that. Anybody have any questions for Mary Ann about those? All right, if not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Tim.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, we'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So that gets us down to our mid-year budget overview. Mayor?
Yes, I'm gonna, I guess first let Mariana walk us through, she's got a handout that she's gonna walk us through. And then I wanna present real quick after she does that, some changes in health insurance and how it's gonna affect different people, what it's gonna cost. And I have some scenarios that I can lay out there to mitigate that. You guys can discuss those. Also, a potential bonus, that was brought, we talked about, so I do have the numbers for that Marianne provided me with, and we can talk about that, what the cost would be. But we also have, I believe Marianne has, if anybody wants to begin to talk about this and to frame where we're going in the next few months, setting up the budget, she has what a 1% raise across the board would cost us recurring. Also have, Martha Shoney's tax collection numbers, and I can give you, I just did a real quick draft, and I'll go ahead and give you this just to frame everything of how we've grown on tax collections. And then Marianne, if you'll go through your handout, and then we'll go through the rest of the stuff. In 2020, we collected $33,811,000 in property taxes, with $120,628 unpaid. That's 0.3% of the total was unpaid. In 2021, we collected $34,929. That's roughly about
34 million.
plus or minus 3% growth of the previous year. Uncollected taxes were $211,600. I just got this, that's why you have a copy of it. I just did this rough calculation. Total on taxes paid were $211,607, so we're up 3% in collections. Uncollected taxes went from 0.3% of the total to 0.7% of the total.
That's for this year, you mean
That
point
was for
seven?
2021.
Okay.
Coming up to, and in 2022, we collected $35,834,792, $35,834,792, which is a plus or minus a 2.2% increase from the previous year. Uncollected taxes were $512,571, which is 1.3% of the total. So the uncollected totals rising pretty sharply, and then this year so far, we're projected to raise $37,078,279 in property taxes, which is a 3.6% increase over 2022, and of course the unpaids are unknown at this time.
Okay,
So that just shows you we are experiencing 2.5 to 3.2% pretty solid growth in property tax increases.
that increase in the uncollected, is that just a matter of the more recent years hadn't had time for back collection activities?
I don't know, I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
it could just be,
Yeah.
just because of the massive amounts of numbers, you got different amounts of people you're dealing with. It could be, you know, the need for more resources perhaps to deal with that in the future, I don't know. But
Well, I mean, I know every year they have stuff they close out from the previous year as well, so I would expect in the last year possibly for that number to be higher than the previous year, no matter what year you're looking at it, because it hadn't been
very
collected
possibly
yet.
could, I'm just,
But I don't know, maybe that's not the way that statistic is collected.
I have a schedule to show you
Okay,
that I do for the audit.
yeah.
that's just, it just shows you though, the work, that's moving.
Property tax is growing,
Forward
that's,
pretty
which is
strong.
what we expected, so.
All right, Miss Marianne, if you'll go through your handout, please.
Okay. Okay, the first page, the top graph is our cash reserves. Now, these are only the funds that are under the county mayor. They're not the schools, there's some other funds that we have custodial responsibilities. These are just the
And-
ones.
Excuse me, by the, this is to date.
Yeah,
To date, of course, we've still got roughly half the year in front of us, so.
Right,
sorry,
this
go
is
ahead.
as of December 31st.
Yes, thank you.
So, cash balances by fund, the general fund is a little over $11 million. Rural solid waste, 1.1 million. Ambulance service, almost 2 million. Local purpose tax fund, 1.5 million. Drug control, that's the one that's under the sheriff, 637,000. Highway public works, 2.3 million, general debt service, 6.3, rural debt, 7.7, capital projects, 9.5, education capital projects that are only used for the school system, 349,000, rural capital projects, 3.6, and then the water wastewater fund, 129,333. So the second, and those funds right there total to the 46,733,952. Anybody have any questions about that?
Not yet, I may have one in a
Okay.
minute, but
Okay. The second graph under that is minimum reserve balances. Some of these we set in our fund balance policies. The other ones as I've described down below, we think it's prudent to at least have 6 months worth of revenue set aside in case something should happen. The general fund, you can see in the blue, that's the minimum, and the purple is what's over the minimum. This is using the same total that's right up there, where it says 11,273,000, the general fund at the top, that's the cash.
yeah.
Then rural solid waste fund, we do half of the year's budget, minus the other waste collection. And the other waste collection is a countywide service that they run out of their fund, but the general fund has to pay back the difference. Ambulance service, 1/2 of their budgeted expenditures. Highway public works, 1/2 budget minus any capital outlay. And the reason why minus out capital outlay, because that's state aid that the state pays us back for, or the bridge fund. We get reimbursed for that, so that's why that's minus. General debt, that's anything that's countywide debt service that we pay for. The only thing that we pay out of that fund right now is the jail. So we do 6 months or 1/2 of the budget. Rural debt, that is school debt. Rural debt service fund, that is all school debt, 6 months or 1/2 the budget. And the water wastewater, that is our enterprise fund that runs our step sand filtration system out at Wayside Acres. That one you have to have enough funding in there to pay the depreciation, the expenditures, and the loan payment. So you can see we do have some pretty healthy fund balances in there.
Where does our general fund balance stand to where we started at the beginning of the year?
She's got that.
She's got that next, okay,
This is coming up,
I'll let
sorry.
you. No, it's fine, that's what I wanted
Is
to
it
know.
not, Marion? You got it?
I don't, no, I have the general fund, yes, I have it, the revenue coming in, I don't have the unassigned fund balance.
Yeah, I
but
just can't
it's
remember
not
what,
changed.
that's what I was gonna
We're
ask.
still
So
on
we
target.
started the year with what? Do you remember?
Around 9 million.
The unassigned fund balance was 9 million? So we've come up in nearly 2 million?
Well, this is cash, not budget.
Not budget, okay, yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah. You're getting there next with the variance, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so this, page number 2, this is only the general fund, because that's usually the one we always focus on, the general fund. So the revenues, I've got them split out by what they all mean, like operating grants and contributions. We have our budget and then our year-to-date actuals in blue. So you can see 122%, and the reason for that is we have some grants that have come in that I haven't amended the budget yet, so it looks like we have more than has come in, but that's typical when you deal with grants. Then you have, let's see, where are we at now? Oh, local taxes. That's, the mayor was talking about property taxes. Right now, we're at 51.7% of our budget, as far as collection in the general fund. I'm not gonna read this word for word, but
No, but just so a question on that one, so like, we haven't passed any budget amendments to change the budgeted amount throughout that, have we?
I don't think so.
don't
If we
think
did
so.
it, it was minor. We've only
Yeah.
had one or two
Yeah.
in the general fund. Let's see, so local taxes, 46% of budget.
And that-
License,
And just a quick summary, local taxes includes what?
it includes property tax,
It's probably right in
sales
front of me,
tax,
yeah.
hotel motel, bank excise taxes. And like I said, the banking excise taxes come in one time. Sometimes you get a little bit later on in the year, but they don't come in until March.
Yeah.
It's after everybody files their federal income tax, usually we'll get that money in. And then I was explaining the sales tax is always 2 months behind. Let's see. And property tax, the majority is collected in December and February. So everything in that category looks pretty good. Anybody has any questions, stop me, please. Licenses and permits. Timing varies depending on the type of license and permit it is. Building permits are issued throughout the year, while the majority of business licenses are received in April. That's something new that was started about 3 years ago. Instead of them being, the total being collected in the county clerk's office, now it's sent to the state and then it turns around and comes back to us. So there's a.
That's useful.
Yes, and it's a 2-month lag in there. And we get those as well. Usually it's after you file your income tax, we get the majority in April. So they keep our money all year. and give it back to us. And then intergovernmental revenue, that's money that is collected by the state other than sales tax, property tax, business license. That is like your TVA money, that is paid to the state, and then we get a portion of that because you have land where there's water over and electric that runs through it, and we get a share of that back. We usually get that quarterly. And then telecom money that comes through your cable providers, you pay a tax, that we get part of that back. Then your.
Cell phone bills?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes to,
Because there's like everybody's taxes on my cell phone bill, as near as I can tell.
yes, and that goes to 911.
Yeah, that's true.
That other tax we get.
Right.
Okay, let's see here. Sports gaming privilege proceeds. That's something new, all the apps, on the phones with the betting. Get that back quarterly. That's the majority of those. They're on target. I didn't see any issues with any of those. Fines and assessments, that's what comes through the court system. Sessions court, juvenile court, circuit court. That money is on a 1-month lag because they collect it in their offices over in the courts, and then they bring us one check after they close out their month and bring it over. So there's always a 1-month lag where we get caught up in June, if that makes sense. So those look fine. Excuse me. Let's see here. Charges for services, subdivision fees, application fees, copy fees, jail, telephone, and order filling fees. And then we have fees that are collected across your various county offices for services they provide. And they're at 44%. Did I miss? Oh, miscellaneous. That's our investment funds that go into the general fund. That's investments right now we're earning off our ARPA funds that have been invested separately.
Where's that one in?
Where's this miscellaneous? It's the second one down.
Oh, okay.
That one is, you cut that one off. It doesn't,
I don't think you have in the chart up above, do you?
yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't, but I don't. I'll have to check that. I may have cut it space. But right now, everything's good. We should end up with an increase that's not been budgeted, about $75,000. So that is our revenue in the general fund as of December 31st.
So just a quick question on all this is, so if you look at that, so if you look at like variance up here, it says, variance 48%, which makes it sound like we're slightly under, but with the lags, is that a true indicator?
Yes.
It is a true indicator.
On the,
No, I just mean in general here, we've got, you know, some of these are, I mean, we're 50% through the year, right? But we've got 46%, 38% on some, 42, but the monies don't come in evenly all year, right?
they don't.
So,
The fines and assessments and the charges for services, those both are 1 month behind. So you're actually really looking at 5 months.
okay, so some of those are lagged a little bit
Yes. And they get caught up in June. I'll make 2 entries in June.
to catch them all up.
Which, yeah,
So it's not a problem is what we're saying.
no.
Okay.
Third page, this is expenditures. I've done it by function, because if you look in your budget book, or if you look in audit, everything is categorized by function. So, the first category, general government, that's your commission, other boards and committees, mayor, attorney, elections, deeds, codes, county buildings, and other general administration. Those are the departments that are under what they consider general government. So, right now, 44% is good, because it's less than 50.
Yeah, that's actual expenditures. So have we realized all the expenditures or their expenditures that are hanging out there that haven't arrived yet?
No, we should be good, half a year. This little category right here doesn't, other than payroll and our meetings,
Yeah, it's pretty even.
yes. Let's see, finance, accounts and budgets, property assessor, assessor, trustee, and county clerk. That is at 47%. Let's see, year-to-date actual versus the budget. As you can tell, that's red is actual, and that goldenrod, or not gonna say orange, because that's not my favorite color.
I thought orange was pretty good yesterday, or 2 days ago.
They look pretty good, I have to admit. So that's that. Finance, 47%, administration of justice, sheriff, jail, juvenile services, rural fire protection, rescue squad, county coroner, 911. 45%, yep, 45%, which is pretty good for that category right there. You can see that's the largest category, $13 million, almost a little over 13.5 million. So 45% for that. And then public health and welfare, local health center, we're still not 100% staffed at the health department.
Yeah,
Let's see, animal control, countywide waste disposal, that's what I was alluding to earlier, that I minused out of the rural solid waste fund, because we actually pay for that. And then other general welfare contributions. So that's at 35%. Agriculture, natural resources, agriculture and soil and water conservation. And then I put those two, oh, I missed one, but I'll get back to that one. Put agriculture and other operations together, because
Yeah.
they're relatively small. Their operation being tourism, industrial development. Property and liability, which, I mean, that is a big one. I probably shouldn't have said small on that one. It's all of our insurance. And then I missed social culture and recreational services. That's tax relief, senior citizens, and libraries. So that right now is at 49%. And then the last page is just an update as where we are on our capital projects, because we have a tremendous amount of projects going on right now. And you can see the total down there at the bottom, $15,263,953 budgeted. And Dennis isn't here, but he could probably report on some of these where I have no activity, because there may be some things going on that I don't know about.
When I go to the capital outlay meetings, it's, I don't know about, a lot of them are correct. I know the health department, the roof, animal shelter, yeah, all those are correct.
How does the budgeted versus available play into to the first page here?
This is capital projects fund.
So it's,
It's,
so it's the 171,
yes.
so,
Okay,
I mean,
there's,
it's gotta be a combination of some more, right?
okay, the first page is cash, the cash in there, and this is what we budgeted.
Yeah, but then you got an available column,
What you
what's
got?
that,
Available is what we have not spent,
out of the budget?
out of what we
Oh,
budgeted.
that's just the budget
Yeah.
minus what they've spent.
Yeah.
But is that in the cash over here somewhere too?
Well,
that's
it's all
of
part
our
of it,
cash,
yes,
right?
it's
So-
part of the cash, because we haven't spent it,
Yeah.
yes, that's right.
So I mean,
You good, Joey? That makes sense.
yes, and, I mean, but there's gotta be more than just capital projects money in there.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
We
there's just-
have-
You know what I mean?
We have
there's-
about 2.5 that we have, that's unassigned in the capital projects fund that we have
After the-
not, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can, if you have your budget book, let's see here.
That's okay, I mean, you don't have to go into details, I just was looking, I mean, at capital projects, there's.
Well, I
9
mean,
million
if something is
available.
not clear, you know, like,
So,
if
yeah,
I can
so
make it clear.
now,
what it
now
is.
I'm confused.
If
So-
one person has a question, there's
I
somebody
think I
else.
see what you,
that's-
I think so.
If there's 9 million available and we have 14 on this page that we could spend,
Where's
Yeah,
the others 5?
Okay, we have 9 million in cash, yes.
Yeah.
Because we're, either haven't been presented with payments yet, or some of these, we've appropriated the money, but we haven't spent it yet. Budget,
Yeah, I think the question though is, if we had a budget of 15 million and we've only got 9 million on hand, where was it,
more revenue coming
is
in.
there other revenue coming in, or is
oh,
that? where's
yes,
it-
yes,
or is
we
it-
have this, the main thing is your property tax, sales tax, is that, you know, we're only in mid-year right now.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yes.
I didn't know if that was coming out of our,
So we're at mid-year on the
Debt
projections, but these
investments.
are all full year.
Right.
yeah,
I got
yeah,
that.
yeah, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
The other thing, I just as a general comment, looks like we're not executing much on our capital projects, is that?
I've had some talks with some folks,
Yeah.
yeah. There's some that, we just need to check on, see what's going on this.
Yeah. All right,
So, I know I have asked Ben Loman to come in when they can. And
Oh, on their
schedule
project,
and
yeah,
just
that's a big-
Give an update on.
that's
on
probably good, yeah.
That one is moving along.
yep,
And some of these, like,
I've checked on all these today except the 2 water tanks.
okay,
So,
And have we received all the ARP money? Or we still have-
yes, we have all of our money.
Cause a lot of these were the ARP money projects, correct?
Art money and TDEC. We don't have our TDEC money yet, but, you know, we were approved for a portion of that to be paid back through the state. That's a separate bucket, so to speak, of funds, yes.
Yeah.
how much is that TDEC money, do you know off the top of your head?
Oh, I might have it in here.
You can get it back to us, Mariana. We'll stick, it's okay,
Okay,
just wondering.
let's see, what do we got here? See, the health department, we're moving along on that. Got the contract submitted and approved, POs issued for that. The second part, minor projects, this just, most of that's equipment replacement. That's in progress. I'm not sure about 21 and 22.
I don't remember 21, but I haven't been in those meetings.
It was presented during the budget.
I do remember that now.
Oh, yeah, they had like a rat infestation
Yeah, or
or something in
something,
there,
yeah,
pretty nasty,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Probably,
do
I'm
remember.
sure can talk about the animal problem at the library, rat,
It's at
Tullahoma Library, oh, it's Tullahoma,
Tullahoma.
that's right.
Yeah, it's still,
Sorry, I was thinking library, just, not bifurcating. I won't hurt you. Put them in a jar.
mainly in a closet, they're not, you don't see them out.
And then, I don't,
Marianne, real quick, they don't have the health insurance handouts, do they?
No.
No.
I don't have any handouts for
Let me
them.
go copy these.
Hey, while you do
I
that,
didn't, I was just gonna speak on it.
Well, I was gonna talk about the increases and decreases, but I want them to have this in front of them too.
Okay.
So let me run, get this.
You don't think it'd be confusing?
Well, no,
Okay.
I mean, I think everybody needs to see them.
Okay.
so do we,
We'll be able to walk
do you have
through it.
anything to say
I'll walk
about
through
this
it. I got
set of
it.
sheets?
I was just asking about the stairs at the Justice Center. I don't know anything about that. Repair of stairs at Justice Center.
I don't know anything about that one either. So does
But it
anyone,
was on the list, so.
so does anyone have any questions, Mariana, on this, this part of the review at least? While the mayor stepped out, let me mention one thing, Nick, because I remember something about the agenda I meant to bring up. So this last thing you have on the agenda, Mariana, was this, transfer of the bond paying agent. Joey's got to step out at 5:30. I didn't know if you, Joey, if you care to be, to have an update on that before you leave or not. We may not get to that. That's actually going to be a vote, so I meant to move it up. But you want to give him the 2-second short version of the bond
Okay,
agent?
we have 4 of our bond paying agents are at Regions Bank in Nashville. We have 4 further of our issues are paid through Wilmington Trust. Well, what I'd like to do is move them all back to Nashville to Regions, because the Wilmington office that was in Tennessee is now in New York. And I just feel more comfortable having it here. I
She
don't
can get
wanna
access basically to
have some
them.
issues with a few
Change anything
things.
really other than,
No, who pays our bonds?
Yeah.
It's just, since the county commission approved the bond resolutions and who the trustee, the bond trustee and the paying agent was in their
Yeah.
bond paying agents, it has to be formally approved by the county legislative body.
So that's, I just wanted you to be aware of that and what it was.
So, just who pays our bonds. We wire the money and then they make sure our payments get paid.
Yeah.
We'd rather have it in Nashville at Regions.
They might lose track of us up in that big city up there.
Yeah.
So, anybody have any questions on any of this material right now? The mayor's off making copies for us of the insurance information. When he gets back, we can review that. Hopefully it won't take him a second. Sounds like we haven't got any bad surprises so far this year, so that's good.
Move those projects along,
Yeah.
get those going.
All right. And this is for our information, so if you take it home and you think about it and you got a question, Mariana,
And
can be
if
glad
there's
to answer
something
it.
you'd like to see, just, email me or call me or whatever, I'll get it in there. It's my first time, I guess.
Time doing a
trying to
review like this, yeah.
Pull it all together, to see what you'd like to see or what information you think is beneficial or you don't wanna see, or
I'll think about it, whether there's
Yeah,
anything I
okay.
think would
Or
be
if you-
useful.
think something is confusing.
Yeah, that's
you
the
wanna
biggest thing,
present
is
it
usually
another
how to
way.
present these things is,
Right.
that's,
Everybody
well, I mean, you
sees
got
things
the
differently.
percentages helps understand how much has come through, and I think that's one of the biggest things. The harder thing is to understand when should they have come through.
Right.
Look at it, and say, oh, it's 40%, why isn't it 50, but that may be good, depending on
That
what
is
it is,
true.
so.
And not getting it when you should have, that's the problem.
Well, do we want to go ahead and do that number 11 while we're waiting on the mayor? Is that okay with everybody?
That'd be good.
Transfer bond paying agent, you got anything else to say about, did everybody follow that enough? That's just who Mariana has to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
The paying agent, if the successor paying agent transferring it from Wilmington, for those 4 bond issues to Regions, Nashville.
make a motion to approve.
I second.
Second. Any other discussion on that? All in favor? Huh? Yeah, just a second. Well, I'll capture that on the video. Did you capture who made those motions, Mariana?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, budget calendar, I didn't know if the mayor might have an input on budget calendar, but yeah, we've got it in front of us here. You haven't really changed anything other than addition. There was,
I always like everybody to see numbers. Keep
Yeah.
these in order, please.
Mayor, we went ahead and voted on that last item, since Joey's gonna have to leave in a minute while you were
Okay.
out.
The
I'm gonna
paying
vote it.
agent, number 11, the paying agent, moving it from Wilmington to Regions.
And we're gonna
Okay,
go ahead,
thank
and we're gonna go ahead and dispense with the calendar here real quick while you're
Very
handling
quick,
those
let
out.
me go over
Okay.
this, cause, just real fast, and there's a lot.
Oh, we
of
were gonna
numbers.
come back to that.
Okay.
We just,
Yeah,
we were just filling the time while you were out.
Mr. Hodge.
Yeah, so
just
the,
getting stuff out of the way, clearing it
Okay.
for you.
So thank you, but I can go over this real quick. Keep in mind, there's a lot of numbers here.
go ahead.
Last page, hang on, this should be your first page.
Is this more than, is this the same thing? Oh, no, this is multiple sheets.
Last.
There we go, keep it like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, these are the options, okay. All right.
Okay. A little bit, last page, last page. Okay, what else you got, Mary Ann, you sent it. Okay, your first page is our insurance, some people's plans went up 16%, some people's only went up a few percentage. A median increase was 10% on our health insurance, okay? Page number 1 shows what, which it should be, say, 2024 Medicaid insurance cost analysis. And it should say on your Premier PPO, employee only, 468.12. You see that? That's what
I'm
they're.
sorry.
An employee by themselves.
Oh, there, yeah.
Their health insurance is gonna go up $468 a year, okay?
Yeah.
Under the current scenario. Employee plus children's gonna go up $726.24 a year. Employee plus spouse, this is an average, $1,545.84. And employer family, which we don't have any enrolled, is $1,265 of that plan. If you look at the number in
Yeah.
the plan and go down that, you'll see how many are in each plan. The largest is the bottom, the limited PPO. A employee only goes up $350.76 this year. Employee plus children goes up $547.20. Employee plus spouse goes up $1,159.44. And employee plus family goes up $961.92. So that's the rough
Wow.
increases that our guys are looking at. Now, in order to potentially mitigate that, we looked at two different scenarios. Right now, the county puts in $550 a month towards those insurances. The employees pay the rest. If the county wanted to increase that by, and your second page should have, the parentheses with 131.88 on the far right corner, where it says employee only. If the county wanted to increase that by $50, $25 a pay period, $50 a month, the way we look at it, then the employee would actually save $131.88. If you look at the very bottom, first to the bottom where our largest plan is the limited PPO, the employees would actually save $249.24 that way a year, instead of having an actual cost increase. Some people would still have a cost increase like the employee's family. That's it with us increasing it across the board, $50 a month, county's contribution to everybody enrolled in this particular plan. If we did it $50 a month, it's just two different scenarios, from $550 to $650 a month, across the
I
board
mean, $100.
to everybody.
Yeah, you meant
$100
$200, yeah.
pay period, excuse me, or a month, $50 pay period. A little bit confused, we have 26 pay periods in a year. We only do insurance on 24 of them because we do it by the calendar year, so we bust it up. So if we did it $100 a month, went from $550 to $650, this is across the board, it would save the employee only's $731 a year on the first plan. If you go to the plan which we have the largest enrollment, which I like to look at, which is the limited PPO, the third one down, $100 a month increase would save an employee only $456 a year. It would save an employee plus a child $652 a year. Employee plus spouse, it would save them $40.56 a year, and employee plus family $238.08. So they would actually take more money home, but potentially encourage people maybe to look at our insurance a little more too. Of course, we are in the process now of putting together a glide path to go from our current insurance to looking at a bona fide bid and operational plan for self-insurance at Clinton. And that's, we got a big call tomorrow. A lot of things happening with that, but we're still some time away from that. So this plan will be in effect for at least 6 months, at least minimum. So it's up to the will of this committee to take one of these two scenarios, or any scenario you choose. If you want to try to mitigate that, if not, then we'll pass those costs along for now. So that is the employees' health insurance increases and some different things.
So hold on, let me ask one question, Eric.
Yes, sir.
I missed something there. So, like on that first sheet, when you were talking about these increases, oh, never mind, you say annual increase, so that's not, so their actual increase for the remainder of this year would be half of that, the first one in the column. Yeah,
Yes, it is
Yeah.
an annual.
yeah.
And
But
then
those are, but those
another
are still,
potential scenario, if you wanted to look
Yeah.
at it, would be, because a bonus is going to come up anyway, so we can already put out what that's going to cost. If you wanted to do a one-time bonus instead of this, in lieu of this change, or both, or whatever, we have what a bonus for full and part-time employees would cost across the board, $1,500.
I'm sorry, do you have that on a sheet here?
No, I didn't
Okay.
have time to make all
All right,
copies of all
that's
stuff like that. Or this one, I knew you didn't have.
Yeah, yeah.
Just throw it at $606,620.
So you said 1,500 was, is that what you said, 1,500? Is how much?
397 persons, go 606,320.
Okay.
That's full and part-time. If we just did part-time, I believe it'd be.
You mean full-time?
Full and part-time.
No, you said, and then you said if we only did part-time.
I meant if we
You
only
meant
did
full-time, right, okay.
Be 538, 500.
So
So,
I got a question.
yes, sir.
The last sheet you give us, if you increased it $50 per employee who has health insurance going to $600, it would cost the county $125,958.
Yes, sir, the one on the left is the 25 per pay period, $50 a month increase. The one on the right is the $50, 100.
Is that's for the remainder of this year?
That's for the whole year.
That's for the whole year?
So if
it
you're gonna
would
do
be
six,
half.
half for the 6
For
months.
the rest of the year, and then
Yes.
next year you'd include the whole cost.
Right.
But we may or may not be making a change next year.
Yes, we're heading that way, but obviously the commission's gonna have to approve that big
Right.
change we make. But we're trying to get it together to have
Okay.
a firm set of numbers and timelines.
All right,
So I'd like to make a motion, if that's okay. I'd like to make a motion that we do the $650, add the $100, to the employees. That would save some, the biggest group would save them some money versus having an increase. And this year's cost would be half of that to the general fund, and then next year you would incur the whole cost. But my motion is that we do $100, we go from $550 to $650 per month,
effective
I'll second.
January 1st.
effective January 1st.
Okay, so we have a second. Do we-
I'll second it.
Now, so let's, just little, sorry, conversation, not the right word, I can't even think what the word I'm looking for.
Discussion.
Thank you, discussion. Guys, that's the word for conversation, I suppose. This, are you saying by, you're not, well, you didn't put it in your motion, so it's not in the motion, but by, and not doing a bonus, or is that a separate
No,
discussion?
I think that's a separate discussion.
I do too, so that's
Listen,
why I was
this is
just
people
clarifying.
who buy insurance, we're just trying to mitigate them not having to pay more money for
Yeah.
insurance. A bonus would be across the board to everybody when that discussion happens.
That
This
should be a
is
separate
just
discussion. I agree with that.
Insurance
I agree with that.
only to take care of the employees so that they don't incur a cost and that the county picks up the tab. And some might get a little money back, I mean, which is fine, but a bonus is a different discussion.
Yeah,
Cause not everybody does health insurance.
No.
As the mayor said, right,
I
it
know.
may be an incentive for
Encouragement
people to get on the plan.
I work in a company full of young people, and we had a big bump in this year for us. So I think it's pretty much universal, and everybody's having health insurance increases. Our company did.
If you don't mind, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman, let's just
okay.
ask Mary Ann if everything looks, that we're talking about is as,
So the,
Is that January to July?
yeah,
to
so the
June, I
budget
mean?
amendment will be for half, but it would be in
January,
the
okay.
next year's
That's all I
budget would be the whole 180.
Right.
Or 190 something.
Okay, that's all I wanted to
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
yeah, but the budget amendment
And
would
that
just be
should
for
be-
half this year.
We'll
but
be
it-
having that discussion about what the health insurance coverage is for next year during the budget process anyway.
Not to confuse anybody
Yeah.
anymore, but this is actually spread through, general fund, rural solid waste, and ambulance fund. Those are, so it's really not gonna be
just a
exactly
one fund.
100 to
Yeah.
just general fund, because
Right.
But
it's
everybody-
payroll,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Do we have any other discussion? Any questions? All right, in that case, we'll have a vote. All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? All right.
So I need to do a budget amendment
Yeah.
for next week.
Um,
So I'll get
Does
that
it have to be
tomorrow.
done for next week, or
Um,
I guess it has to be,
Another one till
Can't-
March.
if we don't get this passed by next week?
It just kind of hangs out there.
I was gonna say, can we
should
backdate
be
the
able to-
correction?
Oh, yeah. 'Cause
So,
we're
so
not
we'll
gonna
be
spend
fine
it
with,
all by
right,
then.
right.
I should be fine. Let's get it done in the morning.
All right,
I'd rather get it done before
right,
we pay it.
of course, yeah. Who made the second on that? Tim?
Those hogs and timber.
Yeah,
Tim did, yeah.
all right. Lost track of my agenda. We're here with the update. Mayor, did you have anything else you wanted to say about the budget update itself?
I did not. Mary Ann did a good job preparing that, and thank you, and I just wanted to, with her help, pitch a couple of scenarios on the health insurance, and, you've had everything done.
So Tim was wanting to include some discussion of bonuses in that. Tim, you got anything else you want
Yeah,
to say there?
We brought it up at the beginning of the budget year. If the taxes was up, we would consider a bonus, and I'd like to make a motion that we consider the bonus.
I don't know if we need a motion on that yet unless we know
Okay.
what the terms are, but, so we don't have any estimates on a bonus amounts yet, do
I
we?
have it right here.
Oh, you do have it, okay, so let's talk about it then. So what do
Just
you
don't
have?
have a handout.
Yeah, so,
I've been asked a lot by the county employees, and they said it was brought up, so I'd like to
yeah, no,
hear
it's
what's
fair.
going on.
So what did you have, Mariana?
Okay, we're gonna do 1,500 for full-time and 750 for part-time. Do you want it all together, or you want me to split it out by fund?
Let's just hear the total first.
Okay, with, taxes included, it's 606,620.
Okay, and then what is it for general fund?
The general fund is 467,216.
All right,
Rural solid waste, 37,175. Let's see, ambulance fund, 62,521. And then the highway is 39,709.
And that was the 1,500 for full-time and 750, or the?
For part-time.
well, can't keep up with what I got in my hand. So just looking at this reserves summary that Mariana gave us a moment ago, our cash balances by fund, looking at general fund, well, that's not the exact right to say that. What was our general fund? Well, our general fund balance, does that represent our general fund balance, the 11,273?
That's our cash.
That's our cash.
Our fund balance is, it's running along the same as what we had budgeted. The 9.4 million,
Okay,
How much that's unrestricted of the 9.4?
9.5, because I've,
9.5?
No.
9.5 is
no,
the
no.
total with the unrestricted, right?
right.
Because it's a separate line item now.
Yes.
So,
It's a net.
this represents, you know, sixes percent. Or 400,000 represents like 5%.
That didn't work. So, right now, we have $8,275,000 in unassigned fund balance.
Okay. So 4.6 represents slightly over 5% of that in the general fund balance, and we're running 75% over our minimum required. Mayor, how do you feel about this?
It's up to Willa.
Good political answer.
Of course, I want to see our employees do better, obviously.
Yeah,
Any
everybody,
chance
I
we
think
can.
everybody does.
And we are doing well as a county now. We have to keep in mind, we've got extraordinary, I keep beating this drum, we have an extraordinary growth coming our way. With that, there's gonna be a precipice where we have to extend services, and which means extend expenses out faster than especially property taxes are gonna realize at one time until they do. So we have to keep in mind that hole's coming. We don't have impact fees or any other tool that we could use necessarily to bridge that gap. So I just wanna keep that in the strategic landscape, that is coming. Now, that's not here now, obviously, but when it gets here, we don't have any land set aside for schools in the future, we don't have any road corridors set aside, you know, we don't have any rural water, wastewater, apparatuses or anything like that that we're gonna need to have and operate tens and tens of millions of dollars that we're gonna have to incur. I predict by the end of this decade.
Yeah.
So we have no planning for anything like that.
What's the committee's pleasure? Do we have we had a second, right? Somebody seconded did somebody second your motion yet? All right, so
Did, this will not be reoccurring, correct?
it's a bonus. It's a bonus, so it's not recurring.
You make a motion?
Tim made a motion.
Yeah, because,
Okay. I'll second it, so we can finish the discussion. I just didn't hear you make a motion.
I thought you did. I
Make
said,
a
well,
motion
actually,
to
I guess I said,
discuss.
let's wait and see what,
Yeah.
if we had the numbers, but she did, so anyway. Yeah.
So then I'll second it for discussion.
So this one, she's mentioned, she runs the numbers office right now, so it'd be a motion for 1,500 and 750 part-time. Yeah, for all employees. All right, so got a motion. All you ladies are staring at us down here. What do y'all think?
I mean, it's just a motion for discussion, right? I mean,
Well, so if we've got a motion, if we vote for it, it'll go to the commission.
At some point.
Yeah, we'll have a vote, but we're just discussing right now, yeah. We're not
I've
calling
got
a
some
vote.
discussion on my motion.
Go ahead.
We brought it up during budget time. We didn't agree to it. We kind of agreed to it because we said a 4 and a 3 and a 3% over the next 3 years with possibility of a bonus if the tax dollars are there, in which the tax dollars are here, up $1 million. So I don't want to back up on what we said.
But was it 1,500 at the time?
If we didn't mean it, we shouldn't have said it.
Was
Well,
it
we didn't actually ever vote for that, right? So that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
we
that
didn't-
I'd like
plan
to
was
get
quite
some discussion.
eviscerated, actually.
Yeah.
But we'll go back to the fact that my original plan before the evisceration was the 4% and then the 3 and 3 over the next years for a total approaching 10, with the bonuses potentially making up the gaps. So the 1,500 around November time, ready for Christmas and Thanksgiving, was discussed initially, then that was tabled,
Yeah.
for the new plan,
Yeah.
completely.
So that would mean that for this year alone, right, we would give about $1.2 million in bonuses? Cause this will be the second round, right? We did 1,500 once already, or was that
No.
on what?
That was
No.
year
That was
before.
That was
last
year
year's
before.
budget?
Yes, sir, it was around this time last year, I think.
So.
Year before.
We gave,
So it's just this year.
we
then?
gave raises this year. we
I believe it was
appropriated money
November,
for salary.
Commissioner, of 2022 when we gave the last bonus.
Yeah.
And that was,
That was on last year's
was
budget.
COVID money or something else?
No,
it was just-
no, COVID money couldn't be used for
No,
that.
sir, it was a general, it was just a general.
Yep. Are we done discussing?
Done discussing, let's vote on it.
I have a question. So since we are increasing their insurance by the $100, what if we did 1,000 for full-time and 500 for part-time to supplement that off a little bit? Because we're taking the full cost for next year. We're only doing 6 months this year.
What is the percent of employees that buy insurance versus don't?
Right now, we have about 240 on insurance.
I feel like that would be higher if it was affordable, though.
240 on insurance out
That's
of
a
how many?
397 full and part-time total.
300.
70% of the budget.
Yeah, so you got 30% that
But you gotta remember, yeah, it could be a incentive to go over
Right.
insurance
It
now,
would-
because
it would- I think it would be
especially
more
you're
if it
single
was
or single with a
affordable.
child, you actually can almost move over laterally
Right.
to things like that if you wanted to. So it could be an incentive to insure more people that don't have insurance. That's just a thought.
So I still recommend give the $100 a month to the insurance and do the 1,500 as planned, because if we cut it down to 1,000, then some people's gonna be left out. Well, I mean, no, they all get it.
They'll
but-
all get it, but they won't get the benefit of
Yes.
the insurance. Some
Yeah,
of them
right.
won't. Yeah, yeah, that's,
But as Mariana said, right, it's not just all general fund money, so I mean, it's spread across the board kinda good, so.
yeah.
I mean,
And we got the money and the employees are underpaid.
Yeah. Anything else? That's not, I thought about that too, and then but then I thought about what Joey was asking about, how many people would miss out a little bit, to speak. Some people get more benefit than others, I guess, but that's happening anyway regardless, right? So,
They're paying a lot to
they,
participate in those plans.
they are.
The 1,500, they help out on the insurance.
Anybody else feel strongly about, making a change on the amendment? Y'all want me to call a vote or not? All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, so there you go. You get to get out of here and go to the next meeting.
Thank you, guys.
So I'll have 2 budget amendments. I'll have one for the medical insurance, and I'll have one for the bonuses for next week.
Yeah. Yeah, and so as long as we said, we don't have to vote on the exact number here, just as long as we told you to go do that, so. All right. Mary, you got anything else?
We're gonna do the calendar.
Oh, yeah, we got to do the calendar, and I got one just more quick thing I just want to discuss, or just, tell you all about in a moment. Calendar, Mariana, tell us about the calendar. There's at least one change on here, right?
Yes, and you have it with the change the mayor wanted on.
I meant compared to last year, are we doing anything
Oh,
significantly different?
One of the committees, I think it was legislative, wanted the budget to be presented to the commission in May.
Yeah,
So what I did just for discussion is put it together. Let me see if I can find it. Put it-
you got, here. You can look at mine. You got,
Yes, I was thinking, okay, like, I'll just go down. February 1st, I'm sending the packets to the individual departments.
is that the
They
same as
put-
always? Yeah.
Send it back to me by February 29th. We have leap year this year, by the way. February 12th through March 21st, this is what the mayor wanted. Budget discussions conducted between the Director of Accounts and Budgets and the mayor's office with department heads, elected and appointed officials. Then March 28th, Mayor Matheny's 2024 budget presentation. Then April 1st through April 25th, meetings scheduled during this time frame. If there's particular departments you want to come before the Budget and Finance Committee. April 25th will be the Coffee County Schools budget presentation. And then May 1st somewhere in there, I was thinking that maybe we should have a work session with the commission and all of us to go over the budget and have all the department heads there.
I like that idea. Because I know we had several requests to have the budget presented by then. We had that discuss, I'm on the legislative committee, and we had that discussion. It's like, oh, we need to have it done and presented by March. It's like, by definition, if you haven't passed it yet, it's not done, right? So, we can certainly present earlier, and what that means is, you know, depending on how good we are in this committee to get progress done, it may or may not be what it's gonna look like on the end of June. It probably won't be. So I told them, you know, just keep in mind that it's an ongoing process. Until you pass the budget, it's not done. And so, but I thought it would be a good idea to have a meeting like that. So I like the idea of having it as a work session. Everybody can get in and ask their questions, and then from there on out, feel like people, it's their responsibility to help stay. If they wanna know what's going on, they need to either be here or watching us on YouTube like everybody else. And I think that will help, actually, having the meetings recorded. It should help the issue that we had last year with people feeling like they didn't know what was going on to understand that. But, so overall, I like that. And so then, yep. So anybody have any changes they want to make to that proposed calendar? Obviously, we can always add meetings as we needed, but this gives us goals to hit.
Just didn't know what day, they said by May, and
I think that's fine. Is May 1st the budget work? Does that work out on?
what is May first? I just put my phone up.
Excuse me, y'all.
I'm thinking it's,
I guess I could just look at the calendar. It's right here in front of me on my phone.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna excuse myself.
Yep. Oh, you need to jump out.
Anybody?
Mayor, I'm gonna give them just a super quick,
May,
I'm gonna introduce the issue of the TIF in Tullahoma to them, Walt.
May first is
Okay.
on a Wednesday.
But we're gonna set up a meeting with you on
Wednesday.
that.
Let's you and I talk tomorrow if you can about, your strategic planning presentation.
Yeah,
for
we can do that
next
too.
week.
We can do that too.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
I'm sorry, what days?
So do we wanna do, Wednesday usually doesn't go over well.
No.
You wanna do May second, is it Thursday?
Is that, that's a first Thursday?
We have
Is it-
capital outlay.
Is
What's
what?
that?
We have capital outlay the first Thursday of the month.
Is that at 4? So could we have it at 5?
I would think so. This is a topic capital outlay members ought to be interested in, right? That's, see, we wanna modify that to May 2nd.
All right.
All right,
And that'll be on the agenda as well for next week, so we have to formally vote on it
Right.
in January.
any other changes? No, I'll entertain a motion to approve this calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
All right,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Just real quickly before we adjourn, wanted to mention to y'all, I don't know if y'all have been watching what's going on over in Tullahoma or not. I'm chair of Tullahoma Economic Board, and we have a large development coming to Tullahoma, or at least that's the plan right now. North of Lowe's, if you go read the Tullahoma News, you'll see conversation about what's called the Summerlin Project. It's Summerlin, I believe. So this has already been heavily discussed in Tullahoma. But this is gonna be a large housing development, so just north of Lowe's on Jackson Street, kind of wrapping around behind Lowe's towards, I'm sorry, not Turkey Creek, what's the road, Tim, help me? Thank you, Ledford Mill Road. They are not joining to Ledford Mill now, they originally going to, and they decided not to do that based on some community feedback. But that's gonna be a very large housing development with a mixture of apartments, single-family homes, and some townhouse, type development. Upwards of 900 and, I won't get the exact number, over 900 units, 954 units of housing, I think. So that's a really big deal. One of the things we're gonna talk about next week in the, from the strategic, we're gonna present strategic plan to the county commission, next week. And one of the things that just kept coming out over and over in that whole process was growth is coming, and we have a housing need. So Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Alderman have already approved the zoning change on that. The developer has requested what's called a tax increment finance, a type of tax break. And so if I'm gonna give y'all like the 5-minute spiel, and in the next meeting, we'll probably have, our executive director over here to present to you guys in detail, because it's gonna require a vote by the county commission. It probably ought to come through our board. A tax increments finance, and just in the simplest terms, let's imagine the property is worth $1 million today. So they'd be paying property taxes on $1 million today. And I'm just gonna make a number up. Let's say our revenue from that was $100,000, right? So now, they go in and develop the property next year, and now the property is worth, let's just say $10 million, right? So the new property tax revenues would be $1 million. So the increment is the increase from the current property tax we'd be receiving, which would be like $100,000 to the million. So now we'd say, well, the county would, when that was all developed, would receive $900,000. So the way tax increment financing works is you allow them to keep a portion, they don't even really keep it, but you allow a portion of that increment to be used to finance public portions of the project. And so in this particular case, they would be requesting to use some of that funding to help build out the roads and the drainage and that sort of thing on the property. We did the same thing for the Northgate Mall about 10, 12 years ago, and that's been very successful. And the advantage of that for any community is you don't lose any current revenue, right? You keep getting your $100,000. You don't lose any of the current revenue you have. In the case of a retail development, you immediately start getting all the retail sales tax. It's been a big boon for Tullahoma to have that development. This development will have a retail portion, and we're trying to get them to increase that. The other thing we anticipate is it will increase the retail market around that area and allow that growth on the north side of Jackson Street. So it's hopefully going to spur more development that we will receive taxes on immediately. This particular group is not asking us for 100% of the increment. They're only asking, I say only, they're asking for, I believe, 60% over a period of 20 years. And so we would immediately, as it's built out, receive the 40%, and then once that thing is satisfied, then you'd get the other. And what satisfies it is they take that, basically use that money. So they basically pay their property taxes just like always. They'll pay the property taxes at the higher rate, but then a portion of that, the increment portion, turns into a source to pay the debt service on the project. So the beauty of this is we get the existing tax revenues, we'll continue to get a portion of the new tax revenues. Excuse me. And the other thing about the project is that there is zero liability to the community, to the governments, on if the project fails. If they get in the middle of it and they can't make the project work and they walk away tomorrow, we don't owe any of it. All the financing they do to finance their project is in their name, and the tax increment is just a revenue source to pay that debt. And if they don't pay the debt, then we're off the hook. So there's almost zero risk to us other than agreeing to give up a portion of future tax revenues for a time period. The city will have to approve their portion of the city property taxes. The county will have to approve our portion of the county property taxes. So there's already been a lot of work done on the math. There's lots of pages of math, payment schedules and all that kind of stuff. And the other, sorry, you drink water. The other thing is the fact that it's structured over 20 years does not mean it will be 20 years till we get the full amount. It only goes until the loan's serviced. So if they build out quickly and sell out quickly and that property tax values out quickly, it'll likely pay off faster. We expect it'll pay off, at least 6-7 years ahead of time if it goes according to projection, but you don't know that for sure until you do it. And that's probably a 6 to 8 year build out from whenever they start. So we'll have a formal presentation next month. We want to give you guys a heads up in case you hear anybody in the community talking about it, and give you a chance. Give you a chance to go research that a little bit if you like. So that's all I have.
So usually gonna work the same way as the ones.
Yeah,
Back to the PAED.
yeah, that's how that works. So they're getting to be really common because they're just so much easier to use than other things. So, all right, anything else?
The beauty store.
Yeah. Excuse me, I got choked on my water. All right. Yeah, I got choked on my presentation. Got choked up.
He called all the
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Funny. Tell my husband I'm going to the beauty store.